Welcome to Stargates Beckon, where Stargates beckon us deeper into higher realm wisdom and the truth of our Starseed souls and journey. Hello, beautiful Starseed. I'm Purusha Radha. Whether you're newly awakened or you've been walking this path for a while, you are so welcomed here. What I share are living transmissions from my Pleiadian lineage and future self, Elohim keys and codes designed to spark your own deep remembrance. Together we step through the Stargates, calling us into our next octave of light and expansion. Welcome to the mothership, Stargates Beckon. Today's transmission is a principal Starseed teaching, the mirror. Do you feel like your mind is being pulled in several directions at once? Are you having difficulty making sense of all that's occurring on the planet right now? Do you feel like multiple realities seem to be colliding and that nothing quite adds up the way it used to? That confusion and mental whiplash, cognitive dissonance, is now a regular thing, and while it seems like the whole planet in many ways is breaking down, often we ourselves feeling like we're breaking down along with it, we are all in the midst of a powerful breakthrough. Division, duality, limitation, and cognitive dissonance aren't random or mistakes. They're all part of our purposeful preparation for shifting into fifth dimensional Earth, New Earth, Terra, underway now. Today in this transmission, we're going to gently explore this very experience through a loving lens. This is your Starseed Council when nothing makes sense. Cognitive dissonance and the mystical path to New Earth. What is this experience of cognitive dissonance? Let's first acknowledge what cognitive dissonance actually looks like. It's confounding and can be exhausting if we cling to a need to sort it all out perfectly. Our old third-dimensional minds were trained to sort everything neatly into clear categories, good or bad, right or wrong, us versus them, this way or that way, all one thing or another. Yet in these times, we are encountering opposing energies and truths that appear wrapped inside the very same moment, the same event, the same realization, the same relationship, or the same piece of information. One part of us sees collapse and chaos, while another part senses magnificent rebirth happening simultaneously. We feel both the density of the old world and the radiant pull of the new frequencies. This creates a kind of mental and emotional whiplash. Though it's fatiguing, it also sparks deep questioning of beliefs we once held as solid, and that's the whole point. Those who are open to receive truth are now looking into our own mirrors to see truth more clearly. Here's what I mean by that. On the whole, the religious right, for example, often looks at the liberal left and sees demons, evil, cheating, manipulation. Meanwhile, the liberal left looks back and sees hypocrisy, wealth hoarding, and the same manipulative behaviors. Both sides see shadows in the other, and the mirror is showing us something important. From my Divine Mother and from another master, I learned that when we can clearly identify a characteristic in another, it's often because it exists or once existed within ourselves. That's why we can see it. At first, it's hard medicine to swallow. We don't want to believe the unpleasant traits we judge in others could also live in us. But how else could we recognize them? The two-party system in the U.S. has steadily amplified this divisiveness, really, for over 2 centuries. Nothing happens all of a sudden, it builds, and now we've reached a crescendo. A steadily brewing volcano is about to release, yet on the other side of this intensity, I see great hope. We will finally grow tired of this old way of being. We will choose peace because unity feels infinitely better than division. We will truly remember we are one. We'll still have differences of thought, but we'll hold them in harmony and love, understanding that truth is multidimensional, not strictly dual. Whatever your feelings about our current president, Donald Trump, he's a powerful catalyst in this moment. And I bring him up because he's the quintessential example of cognitive dissonance personified. He's all sorts of opposites wrapped up in one loud, in-your-face presence. His outrageous actions and controversial nature stir the pot everywhere he goes, inflaming division, confusion, and strong emotions. He's not our savior, as some think. Only we, as divine, realized beings, can save ourselves. But he may be perfectly appointed for this task because it takes someone this bold and disruptive to push so many lower frequency aspects of ourselves to the surface to be seen, purged, and healed. His actions are catalyzing us, whether we like it or not, into higher levels of consciousness. Right now, the outer world can feel surreal and overwhelming if we stay only on the surface. But when we ask for divine counsel and seek to understand from a higher perspective, we begin to feel more detached, peaceful, and supported, knowing there is a divine safety net holding us all. I have asked and asked to understand the cognitive dissonance that confounds my mind. Why did I keep asking? Because I kept getting the same answer and I didn't like it. But when you keep getting the same answer, as arresting as it may be, you finally get it. And that's what I'm sharing with you here today. I got this poignant teaching from my Divine Mother. It relates very well to cognitive dissonance such as we're living today. This truth seared itself straight into my soul, and I feel like it will resonate deeply with you too. She told us, reminded us, the mystical, that level of consciousness which every starseed is seeking, longing for, and here to embody and remember, will often appear to our human senses and intellect to make absolutely no sense. And when this happens, you know you are on the right track. You are in the mystical, the psychomystical, as opposed to the psychological. This is cognitive dissonance expressing itself in its highest spiritual form. You catch a glimpse of something vastly paradoxical, so much so our human senses and still linear minds can't immediately reconcile or neatly categorize it. Yet the outrageous thing is profoundly true. It's light dancing with shadow, apparent division resting inside deep unity, collapse and magnificent rebirth intertwined, the end of one age and the birthing of another, all happening at once. When the outrageous, the mystical, makes no logical sense, celebrate. You're touching the living, vibrant frequency of new earth. You're right on track and exactly where you're meant to be. And it helps lead you and me to multidimensional thinking and truth, not just limited duality thinking. The Pleiadian perspective through Barbara Marciniak is incredibly interesting. I remember reading the beautiful teachings of Pleiadian wisdom oracled through Barbara Marciniak many years ago. The Pleiadians spoke a great deal to this very dynamic decades ago, alerting us to our impending future. They themselves love to teach through paradox, gentle humor, innuendo, and deliberately confounding statements. They've repeatedly said they'll use whatever works. Paradox, made-up scenarios, exaggerated images, or provocative ideas as long as it triggers growth, stretches the mind, and helps people move out of limitation. Listen to this quote from the Pleiadians in the future higher realms. Listen very carefully. This is from Barbara Marciniak's book, Earth, published back in 1994. Quote, "We intend to implant new images in your mind to take you further. It doesn't matter how we do it. It doesn't matter if it is true. It simply matters that we create new images for you. One day, you will find the groove yourself, and then you will understand what we have been after all this time. You will understand that sometimes we have completely made things up in order to trigger something inside of you, in order for you to grow as a human being. We are very crafty teachers." End of quote. Maybe it doesn't matter if we can identify which scenarios they've made up to push us into our becoming. Maybe all that really matters is that we do become. But I can think of a number of scenarios currently happening where I've been wondering if they were contrived to spark real growth and consciousness in us. The Pleiadians remind us that the great shift we're living through, this profound movement from density and duality into full multi-dimensional expression, will naturally feel chaotic, disorienting, and at times completely confounding at first. Old structures within us and around us must crack open, and in order for them to crack open, they have to be cracked hard, because the structures are very dense. Now, we are seeing realities beginning to split along lines of consciousness. What once made perfect, tidy sense suddenly no longer does. Remember, there really is no all of a sudden. This new awareness has been building in us for a long time. It no longer makes perfect sense because we are expanding beyond small either-or thinking into vast, open, radiant, multidimensional truth of existence. We're walking across a bridge right now, and that bridge is confusion. Dissonance is our activator. It provokes us to get from one side of the bridge to the other. Those everything is falling apart sensations you feel are sacred labor pains that accompany the birth of new earth. This is truly the time of the great quickening. As we march into the age of Aquarius, we find ourselves in this time of the great quickening. The quickening is an acceleration period in which duality-based, third-dimensional reality speeds up dramatically and begins to dissolve. This isn't destruction for its own sake, but the necessary opening that allows us to activate our higher light bodies and our Merkaba space-time vehicles. This so we can begin to function as fully conscious cosmic citizens who can navigate manifold dimensions. Wow, think of that. We're in the process of becoming fully conscious cosmic citizens who can navigate manifold dimensions. We Starseeds are here to heal the divisions within ourselves and within the masses. Now the old logical linear mind must gently, and sometimes not so gently, give way to the multidimensional, creative, soul-centered higher mind. The chaos and resulting quickening are precisely what graduate us into our greater cosmic identities. So know that everything is happening right on target, and you're in exactly the place you wrote to be in at this time. Cognitive dissonance is a natural component of ascension. It's not just newly awakening starseeds who experience the painful aspect of cognitive dissonance. Starseeds well along the path do too. I know I do. The mind desperately wants to push away or resolve truths that feel painful, overwhelming, or simply too big to hold at first. Let's face it, we're being told some pretty horrible things are going on behind the scenes. They're so horrible, it's just really hard to wrap the mind around sometimes. The mind cries out, "This can't be true." But this discomfort, I should say, is actually a signal that emotional integration is actively underway. We first begin contemplating the ugly aspects and events of life on Earth confused and in resistance, but then it evolves into evenness, sovereignty, into unity consciousness, and into a graceful capacity to hold multiple truths in simultaneous harmony, to send love and forgive where we're needed, and to transmute old duality into radiant oneness. This process serves Earth to ascend into Terra. As our beloved Earth ascends into her next higher expression as New Earth, as Terra, she and all her people are rising into far higher forms of thought and awareness, and these naturally embrace multidimensional truth. We're gently, sometimes ruggedly, but surely, leaving behind the rigid either or, good versus bad, all one way or another consciousness that defined the old paradigm. We're learning through these very experiences of dissonance to hold paradox with grace. We're learning to operate from soul-centered unity consciousness, and will soon graduate into navigating multiple realities at once. The cognitive dissonance we're experiencing is our necessary training ground. It's the mystical, appearing as paradox. It is how we know we are on the right track. Every time we meet this discomfort with presence instead of resistance, we anchor more of the New Earth frequencies right here in our bodies and in our lives. And this benefits not just ourselves, but all. Here's some practical counsel and gentle tools to get through. So what can we do when everything seems like it makes no sense? Here are the practical reminders you can return to again and again as often as needed. First, meet confusion, chaos, and cognitive dissonance with presence. Take a pause. Detach. Mentally detach from it and simply become an observer holding the middle ground. You are the pendulum that has come to rest at center. Simply witness the dissonance without judgment or the need to force an immediate resolution. Observe it as energy that is shifting and transforming. If you desire clear understanding, ask for divine counsel. Then, be open to receiving those answers at any moment. They may come during your meditation, dream state, or as a flash of awareness during the day, immediately or soon. Shift your attention to your soul's resonance rather than demand immediate mental certainty. Ask yourself, what feels true from the belly of my soul in this moment? And then feel it. This will almost always provide you a clear answer and understanding. Finally, spend time in meditation or quiet contemplation, visualizing yourself walking over a living, luminous bridge between worlds, and you're quite at the end, stepping into a Garden of Eden. See sacred geometrical cluster forms flowing through your aura, catalyzing you into your magnificence. Keep training yourself for life on Terra. You may not stay long once it arrives, but you will be a wayshower to Terra's newly awakened children of light. Stay calm now in your center, moving through the chaos and dissonance step by step, unaffected by it. Beloved Starseed, The dissonance you feel is actually a sacred initiation. It's the divine mystical revealing itself through paradox. It's the great shift working its loving magic through you and through all of us. Remember that when something makes no sense and you're holding your head in your hands confounded, you're on the right track. What paradox or moment of cognitive dissonance are you navigating right now? Please share them in the comments. I can't wait to read. Your stories, your honesty, and your courage help every one of us remember we're not walking this path alone. If today's transmission resonated with you, I'd love for you to visit the full articles on my site for even more layers. Please share your thoughts and experiences in the comments. I'll be reading them. If you're new here, please subscribe and hit the bell so we can continue this journey of remembrance together. Thank you for being here and listening. I see your sixth-dimensional perfection, and I'm holding that vision with you. Until next time, keep your consciousness wide open to the stargates of all kinds, celestial and metaphorical. Step through them confidently whenever they appear. They are always benevolent and loving. Keep your light shining brightly. See you soon. Bye for now.